What is up, guys? I am Neil Barrett. We are officially halfway through the PLL season, so today I'm taking a look at who would win the PLL end of season awards if the season ended today. Let's break down the top performers, analyze their season so far, and see who stands out in each category. First things first, we're sticking with just the playing and coaching awards. I'm not in the locker rooms. I don't have any insights to their personal lives. So some of those other categories we'll leave to the experts. For each category, I'll list 3 players I think deserve to be finalists, and then I'll go over which one I think should actually win the award if the season ended today, and we'll talk about why. First up, we have the George Boiardi. Ooh, that is not easy to say. The George Boiardi Short Stick Defensive Midfielder of the Year Award. The 3 finalists I chose were Piper Bond from the Archers, Zach Geddes from the Chaos, and Matt Witcher from the Water Dogs. Piper Bond is turning into the player I thought he would be when he was drafted out of Penn. I really loved him in college, and after somewhat of a slow start last year, I think he's really rounding into form on who he will be as a PLL player going forward. Zach Geddes has been a standout for the Chaos. I've been really impressed with his versatility. Not only does he lock down on defense, but he also can push the ball in transition and create some offense. I went back and forth, but ultimately I decided that Matt Witcher should be the Short Stick Defensive Midfielder of the Year. At this point in the season, I love the way he's playing. Great lockdown defense. And he's quick to grab the ball, push it in transition, and spark that Water Dogs offense. So although I don't really think that there is necessarily a wrong answer, I leaned a little bit more towards Matt Witcher for this one. Moving on to the Dave Petramala Defensive Player of the Year Award. It will come as no shock to see most of the names. I feel like just about every year you can kind of pick 3 of 4 or 5 guys and you won't be wrong. So my 3 finalists are Garrett Epple. He's leading the league in caused turnovers. He's a rock for that Cannons defense. It's really hard to not put him in this list. My second finalist is JT Giles Harris. We're often solely focused on stats, and defense is one of those things that's really hard to quantify. So statistically, JT Giles Harris doesn't have the numbers that would put him in this award, but I don't know that there's anyone better in this league at locking down a player one-on-one, and he's a pretty obvious choice to be a finalist for this award. And the last one that I picked was Jack Rowlett from the Chaos. Again, another great lockdown one-on-one guy, leader of the defense as well, and really one of the kind of great personalities in the league. Not that that really matters for this award, but still definitely one of the best players in his position. But for me, I go back to JT Giles Harris. I just don't know that there's anyone in the league as good one-on-one with the ball as he is. You can put him on the opposing team's number 1 guy, and you know they're gonna have an off night, and it's the rest of the guys that are gonna have to beat. Next is the Paul Cantabene Face-Off Athlete of the Year Award. Just like with the Defender of the Year Award, you can pretty much pick the same 3 or 4 guys, rotate them through, and you're never really going to be wrong. So obviously, Trevor Baptiste, TD Ireland, and Joe Nardella. Trevor Baptiste is still what we always knew him to be, and that is one of, if not the best face-off specialist of all time. In the last few years, if Trevor Baptiste has been 1A, then TD Ireland has been 1B. It's really hard to go wrong with either one of those 2 guys. TD's facing off right now at over 70%. Not having him on this list is just not an option. But I think the award should go to Joe Nardella. When it comes to facing off, face-off percentage is pretty much everything. The more times you can win, the more times you can get your team the offense, the better chances they'll have of winning, and nobody's doing it better this year than Joe Nardella. So it's a pretty easy choice for me on this one. It's one of the few categories where stats actually are probably pretty relevant. So again, Joe Nardella for me. For the Oren Lions Goalie of the Year Award, I don't know what it is about these specialty positions, but again, it's another one where you probably have 4-ish guys that you can kind of just rotate in, and again, you probably won't be wrong. So no real surprise here. You got Blaze Reardon, you got Dylan Ward, and you got Brett Dobson. Blaze has been Blaze. When he's in the game, he's pretty tough to beat. He's hampered a little bit this year by that injury that cost him essentially 2 games. I think by the end of the year, he's probably right there neck and neck with anyone else in this category. But for me, in this midseason, since he's played significantly less games, that kind of pushed him to a pretty clear third. Dylan Ward is Dylan Ward. There's not much to say about him. He is a rock in cage for the Water Dogs, and the Water Dogs tend to go as he goes. But for me, it goes to Brett Dobson. He has been an absolute wall in net. His save percentage, his clutch saves, and his command of that Archers defense has been impeccable this year. And so I think it's going to be him. There's still 5 weeks. There's plenty of time for a guy like Liam Intamin to jump into this conversation, for Blaze to really bolster his resume. But for right now, I think it's Brett Dobson. Now for the Brody Merrill LSM of the Year Award. This will be the first LSM of the Year award since Michael Earhart retired, and thus the first in PLL history that will not be awarded to Michael Earhart, which is mind-boggling. Michael Earhart was just on another level. But I got 3 deserving candidates for this season. The first one is Ethan Rawl from the Cannons. He probably should have won this award last year, but didn't. And I think he has just continued that level of play from last year right up to this year, so he's an easy finalist. Next, I have Jared Connors. He has slipped right into that Redwoods defense and looked absolutely at home. I think he has even made the Archers regret letting him go a little bit. But for my pick for the midseason award is going to be Tyler Carpenter. I'm a Duke guy, and Tyler Carpenter has even blown me away. I think the PLL game just perfectly suits his style of play to a level that I don't think any of us expected. Even his biggest fans probably couldn't have predicted that he would have the success that he's had on the PLL field this season. For the Gate Brothers Midfielder of the Year award, I have 3 finalists: Matt Campbell, Dox Aiken, and Grant Ament. Matt Campbell leads the PLL in points from the midfield and is a huge reason why the Cannons are 4-2 right now. After taking a year off, Dox Aiken is back and never lost a step. He has been the go-to midfielder for the best team in the league, hands down. But my winner for midfielder of the year is Grant Ament. His vision, his playmaking ability, and knack for scoring at crucial moments has been unmatched this year from the midfield. It's crazy to see him last year when he struggled in the midfield and really did so much better when they put him back low, to having a full off season to prepare to play in the midfield and coming into camp as a midfielder. And the difference it's made is insane. It almost feels, and I'm saying almost, I'm not pushing him out yet, but it almost feels like he is kind of becoming that natural replacement for Tom Schreiber. He really has been that good in the midfield. Next, we have the Rookie of the Year. There's a pretty obvious choice here in Connor Schellenberger. Additionally, I have TJ Malone and Tyler Carpenter as my 3 finalists. I don't think you can go wrong with any of these guys. I think there's an argument to be made for all of them. Connor Schellenberger is tied for 2nd in points with Asher Nolting, despite having played 1 game less. And we're nitpicking here, and I'm not at all trying to slam Connor Schellenberger, who is incredible, but I think that a lot of his point total has to do with Jeff Teat. If Jeff Teat was at 23 points like everyone else in the league is, and Connor Schellenberger was playing with that, I think his point total would be significantly decreased. So I guess in a manner of speaking, I'm enacting a Jeff Teat tax. And so I'm going to put him just a little bit lower on this list than maybe the other 2 guys. TJ Malone has been incredible. For me, he's probably one of the steals of the draft, if not maybe even the steal of the draft. He seems to be leading the youth movement with the Whip Snakes and looks to be every bit of the great pro that we all thought he was going to be when we were shocked that he fell to the 3rd round. But for me, I'm going Tyler Carpenter. I don't know that anyone has exploded in the way that he has. This is probably an offensive award, so it probably in real life goes to one of those 2 guys. But for me, the most impressive guy is Tyler Carpenter. Again, that may have something to do with thinking his bar was here and seeing him play here. I have to admit my own perhaps bias there, but I just watch him and I'm so impressed with him every single game. He looks like a 13-year vet as opposed to a rookie. He has made an immediate impact for the Atlas and made himself just an invaluable asset that I think they were sorely missing the last few years. And in that regard is a big reason why they are the best team in the league right now. Obviously, the biggest reason is probably Jeff Teat, but I think he's in there amongst the reasons why they are so good this season. For the Eamon McEnany Attackman of the Year award, I don't even really want to give you guys finalists because it's so clearly Jeff Teat's award that putting anyone else in there with him and pretending like they have a chance almost feels like an insult. For what it's worth, I had Michael Sowers and Asher Nolting as the other two finalists, but come on, Jeff Teat has almost twice as many points as Asher Nolting, and Asher Nolting is second in the league. It's insane. I don't even need to tell you about Jeff Teat. You've been watching the games. You know he's the guy. Now for the big one, the Jim Brown MVP award. Again, this is Jeff Teat's award to lose. He has already tied the single season points record. He still has 4 games left this season. He's going to put it so far out there, we may not see someone break it in our lifetime. So this is clearly Jeff Teat's award. But I got to thinking about who else would even be a finalist against him. Like I said, with the Attackman, it almost feels like an insult to put more offensive players in there. Like, you know they're not going to win. So who could realistically win? No one's going to. But the only way that you could argue that anyone else could or should win this award would be by looking at other aspects of the field. So I rounded off my finalist with Joe Nardella. He's actually facing off at a higher face-off percentage win rate than Trevor Baptiste was the year that Trevor Baptiste won the MVP. And then JT Giles Harris, again, I just think that there isn't anyone better than him at one-on-one defending. And that is evidenced by him shutting down Rob Pennell, something that has only been done one other time in Rob Pennell's career, and that is saying a lot because Rob Pennell has the highest average points per game of anyone in lacrosse history. He averages about 4.5 points per game and has only been kept off the score sheet one other time, and that's just crazy. But again, come on, we all know it's going to Jeff Teat. He could not play another game, he could not score another point, and he would still win this award. And lastly, we have the Dick Adele Coach of the Year award. Brian Holman, in his second season with the Cannons, has picked up right where he left off last year. He's still a great coach. Everyone loves playing for him. He is clearly one of the best coaches in the league. Chris Bates from the Archers has done a very good job coming off of their championship of maintaining a high level, even with some key absences through injuries and stuff early in the season. Scarily enough, I expect the Archers to continue to get even a little bit better as they head towards the playoffs. And I don't think anyone would be wholly shocked to see them holding the trophy again at the end of this season, just like they were last season. But I think everyone is expecting Mike Pressler to run away with this award. After last season, there was a whole lot of chatter about how he didn't deserve the job and he should be fired. It was time for the Atlas to move on. He stuck to his guns. He made some key offseason moves. He drafted insanely well. We talked about Tyler Carpenter earlier. Obviously, Connor Schellenberger, pairing him with Jeff Teat seems to have taken this offense to a whole new level. But the defense has also gotten a lot better, and now they have Liam Entman in cage, and this team is truly, truly scary. 1985 Bears, Space Jam Monstars level of scary. So barring the Atlas just completely crashing in the second half of the season and bombing out of the playoffs, I think it's a pretty clear winner in Mike Pressler. Anyway, that's it for our PLL midseason awards. If the season ended today, these are the players and coaches that I think would take home the hardware. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below whether you agree or disagree with any of my picks. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you like lacrosse content. I'm here every week. That's all I got for you now, so I'll see you next week. Later.